Ah, sorry about that. I didn't realize this was muted. So, greetings, sentient beings. This stream is not intended for children. There will probably be harsh language and adult themes. So, okay, sorry about that misstart there. Yeah, I was having some problems with my headset earlier. So let's see who we've got here. I see Dave and Randolph and T and Danish and Hi Nerdy, Doc, and Amiga Nuts. So looks like I'm flying solo today, which is always kind of awkward for me. But at least I have some news updates to talk about. Okay, Nerdy. Good on the double entendres. Actually, it doesn't take much to turn me on. I think on is kind of my default state, and it's only like people acting really stupid turn me off. And Greg Hartwick. And Greg has been very generous in the donations. It seems like rather than sending one big donation, it's been at least once a week he has sent an additional $25. So I think he has sent me something like $150 at this point. I'd have to check and add them all up. So yesterday I got an anonymous donation of $250, which has put us just over the halfway point to the goal. So the goal is $2,500. At this point, I think the total was $1,250.30. So we're just over halfway. I am planning a push for it this weekend, trying to do a 24-hour relay chat, running from noon Saturday until noon Sunday, and that'll run into Diana's Coffee with Lavender on Sunday. She'll do the wrap-up. I do need some help from some of you people on the other side of the pond. I've got a lot of time slots open that basically are, the late night hours for late night and the wee hours of the morning for North America that I'm having trouble filling time slots for. So if anyone can help out and host a show, pretty much it's between like 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. London time that I've got several slots I need to fill. So if any of you guys can host a slot for an hour or two, that would be greatly appreciated. Oh, hi, Robert. I got I finally got a floor plan with dimensions so that I could start figuring out furniture arrangements. And I have built most of the furniture in my apartment, including these huge wall shelving units, one of which is more than 12 feet long. So now that I have the dimensions, I know how how I need to modify those to fit the spaces available and fit the walls without blocking the windows and the heater and such. Yeah, so everything is moving along, everything's progressing. I've also been hawking a lot of stuff out of my own collections. So trying to generate some extra money, selling stuff online, selling stuff through eBay. Hi, Orla. Oh, well, this weekend, Robert, we're trying to run the chat marathon from noon Sunday or noon Saturday until noon Sunday Central Standard Time. So it's this coming Sunday morning that I'm having trouble filling some of the time slots. That's from like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sunday, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. London time Sunday, because that works out to be like midnight to 8 a.m. my time, when most of the people in North America are asleep. So that's why I was hoping to find a couple of people on the other side of the pond who would be willing to, host the chat sometime between your breakfast and lunch over there, sometime between when you get up and have lunch. So just seems that a lot of the people that I know in the UK and that seem to have previous commitments for that day. So having a little trouble finding enough people to fill the slots there. I'm sorry, I'm rambling to the point that I'm forgetting what I've already said and covered here. Guess I don't do well when I have to do this solo. I kind of need someone else to be running things off of to keep me going. Did spend some time this past weekend, reconnecting with some people in Minnesota, some people in gaming groups that I was in before. So even though it's going to be a different city from where I lived in Minnesota before, St. Cloud, I had lived in St. Paul. Excuse me, St. Cloud is about an hour and a half northwest of the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. So it will be close enough that I can still get together with some of my old friends. But some of them were also giving me leads to gaming groups that would be right there in St. Cloud. So that's already opened up possibilities for, basically meeting a whole new group of friends, new people that would already have shared interests. I also went and I've changed my location in a lot of my online profiles. And one of the interesting results of this is I already got an email from somebody in St. Cloud who looked at my profile, and we're just talking an email now, but this is the potential for I may actually get a date. And it's been 5 years since I've actually had a contact with anyone that I considered there was a potential for anything intimate happening. So it's the early stages of that, but it's the idea that I'm not even there yet, and there's already the potential for that is just amazing. Yeah, Nerdy, even if you can't host the stream yourself, could you maybe just get on and sing a number for us? That would help. So I'm trying to catch up with reading the side chat here. I missed something. What's about Doc Pearson and the apples? What? Oh, Morton, sorry, I did see you come in there. Uh, yeah, I was going to ask Badger. I just wasn't sure. You know, it's kind of hard for me to be asking people about helping with the stream because basically I'm asking people to shill for me. You know, and I don't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable situation, you know, if they're not comfortable with doing the shilling. You know, it's a lot to ask of a friend of, you know, I'm asking other people to go and beg for money for me. So I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable or put anyone on the spot. Okay, Randolph, we'll catch you later. And Randolph, thanks again for the amazing Minnesota Trail artwork. That was just so cool. If anybody didn't see that from last week, check the thumbnails on my page. Randolph did an artwork that was a spoof of the old Oregon Trail game called Minnesota Trail. And you have to look at it closely. He put in some interesting bits, like the wagon is actually being towed by 6 triceratops, orange triceratops. Oh, right, Robert. Okay, now I get about the apple. Yeah, Robert, T and Danish are already, running a stream on Saturday. Let's see. Actually, yeah, they're going to basically be the leadoff. That'll be Saturday at noon Central Time. Yeah, Greg, you have certainly done more than enough already. I'm just amazed at your generosity. So, did anyone have any questions about anything or anything you care to ask me at this point? The kiddies, of course, are getting kind of stressed out because they see things changing and don't understand what's going on. Oh. Yeah, I've said that for the last 4 years that getting out of this town has been my only real goal. Actually, the plan to go back to Minnesota goes long before that my fiance and I had planned, when I moved from Minnesota to be with her in New York, after I'd been there a couple of years, we were able to take a trip back to Minnesota just for me to show her around and meet some of my friends. And she said at that point that we had done things backwards, that if she had known, she should have moved to Minnesota instead. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Thanks for stopping in.
You betcha.
Oh, and hello, Hans. Yeah, I was just saying that, my fiance and I had actually planned to move back to Minnesota. But due to her medical bills, the fact that basically her asthma landed her in the emergency room a little less than once a month, we were never able to save any money. So she never made it back there. So actually the plan to move back to Minnesota has been something that I planned out like 7 or 8 years ago.
Well, it sounds awesome that things are finally starting to work out for you.
Yeah, we're definitely making a lot of progress here. So, and basically all the paperwork is signed. I am committed to this one way or other. We have to make this work. I put down a check for the deposit on the apartment. So it's like, yeah. Like legal contract stuff. We have actual leases signed.
Oof.
So we're halfway to the fundraiser goal. Hopefully this weekend we can get it up there.
Yep. Halfway, that's pretty darn good.
Yep. Well, we're coming down to the deadline because we only have, 10 days left to the end of the month now. Yeah.
Yep, it's coming fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those things that's like, part of it didn't seem real because there was a lot of waiting on things that had to get done. So it's like now everything's kind of lined up, and all of a sudden it's kind of the, oh my God, I've got less than 2 weeks to pack all this shit up.
Do you have a lot of stuff?
Well, this was a fairly small apartment, so as far as packing, a lot of my stuff was already packed in storage. So, but there's the packing and getting the apartment cleaned up, and a big part of it is dismantling all of the furniture, dismantling these huge shelving units. But fortunately, I don't have much. The only real furniture I have to move is my 2 recliners and a small freezer. Pretty much everything else I have will either fold up or I can take all the screws out and it'll break down flat. So there will be a lot of pieces, but there won't be like huge things that I have to move. So most of it I can move myself. Apart from the beds, I only have like the beds and the mattresses. I've got a few things I'll need a second person to help me get into the truck. So we're trying to find somebody who can at least help for a few hours on the day to load the truck, and then try to find somebody who can help on the other end. And of course, we can hire somebody if we need to, but then that's, again, a bit more money that'll be needed.
Yeah.
And of course, all the other miscellaneous stuff that I've got to do. I'm building a kennel for the back of the car. Basically, I'll be driving the U-Haul truck, and Sloth Girl will be driving my car with the kennel with our 2 free companions in the back. So, but they're going to be stuck in there for, what's going to be like an 8 to 10 hours, considering the driving and depending on the weather and how many stops we have to make. So it needs to be something big enough that they can, move around a little bit and have a litter box in there, and that, we can't risk letting them out at any point, because if one of them got out, we'd never find them. So there has to be enough room that, when we stop, anytime we stop, that we can put food and water in there for them. Oh, hey, Alias. Okay, Alias, you're in Minnesota too? That, I don't know how far a drive St. Cloud is for you, though. At this point,
I was just going to ask about how far is it from, say, Albert Lee?
actually, Albert Lee's fairly close. I'm sure that's less than an hour from St. Cloud.
Cool. So
because I know really Albert Lee is somewhere in between St. Cloud and St. Paul. You know somebody there?
No, but I'm actually maybe around an hour and a half or so drive from.
Oh, wait a minute.
St. Cloud, then probably.
Hold on. Am I getting Albert Lee and Albertville confused again?
Maybe Albert Lee is pretty close to the border, the Iowa border.
Yeah, Albert Lee's further south. I'd have to see on Google Maps how that is.
I'm probably around 40 miles from Albert Lee. Thereabouts.
Okay. Yeah, Albert Lee's further south there. Yeah, that's a bit of a trek. Albert Lee's like, 2.5 hours on the most direct route.
All right, so it'll probably be a good three or so hour jaunt for me.
Yeah, that's a bit much for you.
But I would like to attempt it sometime, just to visit you.
Yeah, well, and that would be great for a visit if you want to come up, and we could certainly, put you up overnight. That would be good to meet more people, and I know we've got some people that are in Minnesota. Jenny Morgan is also going to be about 2.5 hours from us, and actually, I know where Johnny Drive-By is. I don't want to dox him, but just because I know the area, that from some of his driving videos, I was able to identify some landmarks, and I know where he's at.
Cool. It would be pretty awesome if all the 4 of us could get together and hang out for a while. Well,
and I had even mentioned to Johnny about, that maybe I could come down there and help him with some of his projects. Because for 35 years, I made my living as a freelance handyman. So I have skills in carpentry, all sorts of home repairs.
Sweet.
So if I had been down there earlier, I would have been down there to help him build this deck.
Yeah, he seems to be a pretty skilled carpenter.
Oh, definitely. That deck looks gorgeous from the all the videos he did on it.
Yeah, I watched a couple of them. That was kind of a while ago.
Yeah, well, that was, last summer that he was working on that. He has a lot of talents.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, our plan actually is to rent the truck to be loading on the 26th and driving on the 27th, because the building manager said that we can actually start moving our stuff in on the 28th.
Groovy.
So that's Alias, if you'd be available to, give a bit of help of unloading some things from the truck on the 28th, that would be great. Like I said, there's only a few large items that I can't handle alone. But Sloth Girl has MS, so she has problems with her legs, and she really can't carry anything heavy.
Yeah.
No, Robert, stalking Dave is not a full-time job. Stalking is only one of my hobbies. And then that's part of my problem. I have far too many hobbies. Yep. I have far too many hobbies, and that's part of the problem. And that's why I've got too much stuff.
I don't really have very many hobbies unless you want to count video games. Just about my only hobby. But I have lots of interests. You see, hobbies costs money. Interests are free.
Yeah, well, that's part of my problem is I'm interested in everything. So it's like I find something interesting and I want to start experimenting with it. And that requires you to start, having tools and materials to experiment.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things, though, that I've managed to do with the toy collecting, with the Transformers and the Legos, is, being able to buy stuff and resell stuff at enough of a profit that those have managed to at least be self-supporting hobbies. I don't think I've ever made a real profit, but I think they pretty much cover their own cost. The real trick with the Legos has been having storage space, though, because it's like I've been able to buy a lot of stuff on clearance, at like half, 50 to 75% off when it was on clearance. And if I put it away somewhere and forget about it for 2 to 3 years and then bring it out, then people are willing to pay the original retail price for it again. So then I can sell it for twice what I paid for it just because I put it away in a closet long enough.
Cool. Yeah, I guess it's a patience game.
Okay, yeah. Alias, great if you would be available to help and you don't mind taking the drive. Why don't you DM me on Twitter, and we can work it out and I can give you the address. Okay, there's my Twitter handle. But yeah, it's pretty exciting because it's I was somewhat familiar with St. Cloud. It was someplace where I lived before was about equal distance between St. Paul and St. Cloud. So I had driven in there, to do shopping in that before because I was living in a smaller town there. So I was basically familiar with it, but the more information I'm getting on it, and the more I'm looking into it, it seems that the city has actually been growing and, economically seems to be doing better than it was 10 years ago.
Nice.
That there's more stuff going on. There's more stores and that. So it's very encouraging that everything we're seeing about it is making it looking even better than we were originally expecting. And
nice.
The additional visuals and that, and getting the dimensions for the apartments and the whole layout, that also, the apartments are definitely a considerable upgrade from where we're living now. One of the big features of the apartments is the kitchens are about twice the size, like twice as much cabinet space in the kitchens. And for Sloth Girl especially, that's a huge thing because she loves to cook. And the kitchen here really wasn't functional for her. It was really difficult. Literally, the kitchen here was so small that she could not stand at the kitchen sink without her butt hitting the refrigerator.
Yeah, I've lived in some pretty small places myself.
Yeah. So, she's really excited about actually having a kitchen that's got enough counter space that she can work with.
But a small place for me works pretty well because I have almost nothing. I have a bunch of old books, some comic books, role-playing game books, a bunch of crap I can probably throw out if I just take the time and go through it. All stuffed in my closet here. So
yeah, we're weeding through and giving a lot of stuff away.
I'm like pretty much a one-day move.
Yeah. I am going to have to get a storage space there because the one problem I have is in order to do the home repair work, I need a lot of different tools. So I don't need a lot for living space, but I need a considerable storage for my tools. And while it would be great to have a shop, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to have enough money for actual workspace. But, just because I don't specialize in one thing, I do such a variety of things, I need a large amount of tools. And even there, I'm trying to thin that out and trying to thin out my tool collection, and I'm going to be leaving a lot of that with my brother, giving him a lot of my tools and selling off some of the stuff, especially the bigger woodworking equipment, because I know I'm not going to have any place to set it up. Unfortunately, around here, everybody's broke, so there's not much of a market. So it's like, even to sell anything off here like that, I'm having to sell the stuff off at like 10 cents on the dollar just to even move it out.
Any chance you can take some of it with you and sell it where you're going? or even try like eBay or anything like that?
The problem is the big heavy stuff costs so much to ship that trying to sell it through eBay or sell it online doesn't work out because nobody's going to pay the shipping cost.
Yeah.
And taking any of it with me again is the problem, that I've got to have someplace to store it until I could sell it. So it's like, some of it, the stuff that I can, fit in reasonable size boxes, I'll try doing that. But, the big equipment, I'm kind of stuck with.
We just need to get you a TARDIS. Then you have plenty of space for everything.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to move. It just has to be a I just basically have to have a closet that's big enough to be a workshop inside. That would be really nice. That was one of the big disappointments up here, is that I had been given the impression that it would be realistic for me to have a workshop here. And for several reasons, that plan never worked out the way it was pitched to me. That was one of the things that lured me here, and then I found out that a lot of the promises that were involved in that were things that people weren't really realistic about.
Yeah, that sucks. Humans will disappoint you.
Yep.
But sometimes they come through for you too, so.
Well, and I've met some amazing people that way. Although mostly online, the more I think about it.
Yep.
That even in one of my previous moves, when it got to the point of the stuff that I couldn't get up the stairs alone, asked all my friends and family in the area and got a lot of kind of half-hearted promises, but on the day of the move, the only person who showed up was one guy that I had only talked to online and never met. But he was the only one who actually showed up to help me carry stuff.
Wow.
Hold on a second. Sloth Girl's coming in here.
I don't know if I've ever talked to Sloth Girl directly. Or if I have, it's been a very long time.
Okay, Sloth Girl says hi to everyone, especially you, Doc. Yeah, she
hi,
doesn't.
Sloth Girl.
She doesn't get on in the live chats very much. You know, once in a while she'll be in the side chat. Yep, she's saying that after we move, maybe she can get in there more often.
Cool. Is there much of a market / interest for her knitting and stuff where you guys are going?
Yeah. Well, again, with the stuff that she does, the handcraft, people don't want to pay for the time for that. So it's not anything that's ever really profitable. And it kind of like what I was saying about the Legos and that for her, it's a self-supporting hobby. That basically what people pay for will cover her materials and not really give her anything for the time.
Oh, wow.
You know, but it's something she enjoys doing, and it's something that, you know, she says she just sits there and does it while she's watching TV anyway. So, you know, for her, for the entertainment value, that's okay. She does a couple of craft shows, usually around the holiday seasons.
And that's part of my question too.
I'm sure you can find some there.
Is there like a scene and some craft shows and stuff going on in St. Cloud?
Haven't really looked into that, but I'm sure there will be. You know, that's
I imagine there will.
Yeah, up here, you know, just before Christmas, there was a craft show at the community center and one at the museum that she did. And, you know, and it's like, yeah, she managed to make a couple $100 between those. But yeah, again, when you consider just what she paid for the materials for all the stuff she made, it really didn't wind up, you know, making more than at most a couple bucks an hour for her time. And I mean, seriously, I doubt it came out to better than $2 or $3 an hour for the time she put in. Yeah, but that's what she's saying. It's stuff she would have done anyway because it's something she enjoys doing, and you know. helps her pass the time.
Well, she's extremely awesome at it.
What's that?
Just from the pictures of her work I've seen.
Oh, okay. Hold on a sec.
Hmm?
I actually didn't even realize it. Yeah. I gotta put this back on the speakers. No, it shouldn't. There we go. No, I usually have it on the speakers. It just I didn't even realize that it was only coming through the headset. So she wasn't hearing anything. That should be better. Let me know if it causes an echo.
Hi, Robert.
Okay, I don't hear it yet, so.
Adjust the volume a bit.
Am I coming through kind of loud at all, or?
You're fine.
Nope, you're good.
Okay, and I am kind of speaking softly on purpose.
Yep. Alias fake name. Is going to contact me on Twitter and says he will be available on the 28th to come and help unload the truck.
Awesome.
Because Alex says he doesn't know if he has to work or not.
Yeah. That's Sloth Girl's son might be available, but he doesn't know his work schedule yet, so. Yeah. So, if he's not working, he'll come, but if he has to work, well, he has to keep his job.
Yep.
And they're not very flexible about that. He has to show up when they tell him to.
Robert X, what are you doing up so late? Or is that early?
Well, it's evening for him.
Crazy catnip
No,
is
Robert
here.
X is in Germany, so yeah, it's like dinner time for him. Yeah, I was trying to eat before I started, but I ran out of time, so I got it out, but I haven't had a chance to eat yet.
Eating's for mortals.
That was good.
Oh, hey, Catnip. So, yep. Tea and Danish is basically going to be heading off the fundraiser on Saturday starting at noon.
Groovy.
So we've got all of the normal hours for my time zone filled. It's the stuff that's like late night and the wee hours of the morning when people in North America are normally asleep that we need to fill up. And then, starting Sunday morning at like 9 a.m., then we've got people filling in from then.
I just looked up Sloth Girl.
Cool.
Well, for one thing, you're looking up spelling it wrong.
Huh?
It's G-R-L. Greg Hartwick.
Oh.
Just looked up Sloth Girl. There must be 100 of them.
Okay, yeah,
I'm on Facebook, but it's under Donna Bag.
Yeah, Greg, Sloth Girl spells the girl with a U.
Or an R-L. One of the two.
Hello, Hemmable.
You should be able to find it actually if
I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, if you go to my Twitter,
yeah,
and just look in my friends would probably be the easiest way for you to find her.
Absolutely easiest, yeah. Hey, T.
Hi, Hammable.
It smells like pig. Yep, sloth is my spirit animal.
Yep, sloth is her spirit animal. She's even got a tattoo of one on her arm.
I swear I'm the only person that has it.
Is that in your profile picture now, the tattoo? Yeah. So that's another way to tell if you've got the right one.
My Twitter account has my tattoo.
Yeah, her Twitter account has the tattoo of the sloth on her arm.
That's how you know you're the right sloth girl. And I believe that's GURL.
Yeah, it does have the U.
Because IRL is just so common.
Yep.
Oh no, it's personal safety.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she changed it. Okay, but here we go.
There you go. There's my link. Here's the link to me on Twitter.
Okay, here's Sloth Girl's Twitter page. I'm posting a link in the side chat.
It is RL. No U.
No, okay.
Slowly at the
Yep.
end.
Okay. So there's hers for everybody. Beep, beep. Also, as far as some of her creations, where was our? There we go. We have, a whole bunch of thank you gifts that we're going to be giving away to people who donate to the moving fund.
Groovy, groovy. I do kind of have my eye on that scarf.
Yep.
Doctor Who scarf.
So here's
highest bidder gets it.
Yep. Here's a link to the video that's basically highest bidder gets first pick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a video catalog of all of the stuff we have to give away. Also not listed in that, I'm also going to do a limited run of 10 t-shirts. Or, yeah, 10. Well, so I don't have to deal with people's sizes. Instead of doing the shirts, I'm going to do t-shirt transfers.
Iron on decals.
Yeah, that you can iron on yourself.
Cool.
But I'm just going to do a limited run of 10 with my, my icon and my channel motto.
Cool.
And then just for everybody who donates, anyone who wants to give me an address to mail it to, I'll be sending out a mess of stickers that, also with my avatar and my channel motto. Think for yourself.
Cool.
Yes. So, we want everybody to know we appreciate any help we get. And, even if you can't afford to donate any money, if you can repost the links for me.
Oh, yeah. Word of mouth does a lot.
Yeah. Because that's going to be a big thing. It's just going to be to get the word out. I've got a tiny audience, so I need it to get out in front of more people.
Yep, I know how that goes.
That's not even T minus 10 days anymore. It's T minus 8 days.
Yep. So, whoop. For the shilling part of it, here's all of my links to donate. If I can get these out of here properly without messing them up. Way too often copying the links winds up with them getting mutated and not working.
PayPal is preferred.
Yeah, the PayPal is the preferred way because it's the fastest and easiest way for me to access the money. With the GoFundMe, there will be a bit of a delay.
And a service fee.
Yep. And yeah, the GoFundMe charges a bit more of a fee. The PayPal, if you have a PayPal account and you donate to it, there is no fee charged.
Yeah, I think.
So there are all the links.
I think PayPal does do a little bit of a charge though, because I think they charged me a little, but it's not much.
Still less than
Yeah,
GoFundMe does.
At the most, if there is a charge on PayPal, it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah, they're only taking 3%. It's a very minimal fee. So yeah, and like I said, I know a lot of people out there are even broker than I am. So, you know, I don't want anybody to be doing anything that's going to hurt themselves. So, you know, just if you've got a few dollars you can spare.
If not, throw the link out there.
Yep. Yeah, otherwise just, you know, throw the links out anywhere that you can get more people to see them. Oh yes, and Sloth Girl is officially sick now, which is wonderful, and of course that's going to slow down the packing, but yeah. We kind of expected this sort of thing to happen to her.
All the germs.
Yeah.
When I get stressed, my immune system goes
Well,
down.
when she gets stressed and storing up all the old dust, and again with the MS, she has a compromised immune system, so
yeah,
just anything that wears her down makes her very vulnerable to catching any kind of cold, and
especially stress.
So it's kind of like, yeah, if anybody sneezed in the elevator within an hour of her getting into it, she's going to get a cold.
Or just touching the grocery store. Catch your kids with snotty noses.
Oh, you got yourself stuck again. Sammy's son getting his claws stuck in things because he can't retract them properly.
I was reading the pet policy for the place. All cats are supposed to be declawed in the sun.
Yeah, we already discussed that. I'll argue it, and I'll get a vet to argue it if I need to. So, yep.
I can see why now that's good. But didn't tell me that to see the place. So we can't brag about
Yeah, well, that's I was telling everybody that it's definitely an upgrade from these apartments, and especially about the kitchens being twice as big, and how excited you were about having a more functional kitchen.
Oh, thank God. We're moving on up.
Yep. So, and it's also a very nice area that right across the street from the building is this just huge park.
Soccer field.
Yeah, that they've got like soccer fields and 4 baseball diamonds. You know, wow. So it's a big like community of attraction thing.
And then across the street, the even better part is the YMCA.
Yep, and yeah, literally there's a YMCA like a block away. So yeah, Sloth Girl has been looking into getting into some things. She's particularly interested in getting into some like water aerobics.
Low impact water aerobics.
Yeah. Because again, she can't take the impacts on her legs, but just to get into a regular exercise program.
Yeah, swimming is great exercise.
Yep. And even the building we're in, they even have a small exercise room in the building.
With a bike and a treadmill.
Yeah, so there's a bike and a treadmill. So it's like even when the weather's so bad that she can't get outside to walk, there will be a treadmill there that she can use.
Very cool.
And
Very awesome. And
they have a huge community room that even has a billiards table in it. So yeah, there's just so much more to do there. So many more interesting things. So I'll have a lot of better options than, sitting around here bored and drinking. No, I have been concerned that since I've lived here, my alcohol consumption has literally gone up to about 10 times what it was when I was living with my fiance. So, just having some more activities so I'm not doing that so much. And that's why I knew I had to get out of here, because I knew if I was stuck here long enough, becoming an alcoholic would be pretty much inevitable.
Just like everybody else.
Yep. Actually, this county had the highest rate of alcoholism in the country for 10 out of 12 years.
Way they.
Yeah.
So yeah, that tells you just not a good place. It's just pretty depressing for everyone living here.
That sounds pretty awful.
The town is dying.
Yeah. Well, it was a mining town, and the last of the mines closed in the 1980s. So for the last 40 years, there has been just no businesses here, and everything's just slowly dying out. It's like the local businesses are just family-run things, which, once the kids go away to college, they don't come back. So the businesses that are here are basically only here until the person running it retires or dies.
But they won't let anybody else come in either.
Yeah. And there's a couple of powerful families that control everything here. And they do manage to restrict who manages to get in here and set up a new business, because they like run the city planning councils.
Yep.
So nobody can come in and open a new business without their approval.
So
crazy.
No chance for growth either.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a minute.
So yeah, about the only thing left around here is the bit of tourism, which is, sportsmen, people coming for the hunting season or coming for fishing. So it's the people from out of state who can afford to have a lake cabin up here. That's the only money that ever comes into this place. For the people who have to actually live here full time, there's really nothing here.
We don't have a freaking movie theater or a bowling alley.
Yeah, the movie theater also closed down sometime in the late 1980s, and the bowling alley burned down.
Yeah, it sounds like that place is kind of dying. Pretty much, amiga. Okie dokie. Yeah, I was actually going to ask Purple if. I was actually going to ask Purple if he has Google Earth and is able to check things out with that. No, I have my own channel that I have no content on. But if I need to do something entertaining, I can try to fart the ABCs.
Okay, am I back? Did that fix it?
Yep, you're back.
Okay, yeah, just StreamYard's being weird for some reason. I had to exit and come back in just to get the mic to work.
Yeah, it can be quirky.
Yeah, but it's free and it works most of the time.
Yep.
Well, I guess it goes back to what I always said about like using Yahoo and Google. You know, you get what you pay for. Google is free.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah,
Now
I
think
was.
I think I just heard an echo.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know why, because the speakers went back off when I reset. So I should be. No. Okay, it's on the speakers. Well, Sloth Girl went, so I can go back onto the headset. Okay, that better?
I don't think I hear it anymore. So.
Yeah, I switched from the speakers back to the headset. But yeah, I have been using the Google Earth, and just kind of, like I say, exploring the area. That's how I was looking at the park next door and all that stuff. Looking at what kind of places are around the area, and like the building's only like a 10-minute drive from a pretty major shopping district. So most of the stores that we like are available there.
Cool. It won't be an hour and a half drive to Walmart or whatever store you want to go to now.
Nope. Yeah, most of the stuff is only 10 minutes away.
Nice.
Yeah, and there's a Walmart in there too. So an hour and a half to go and visit some friends in Minneapolis and St. Paul, but at least I'll have friends that I can actually, see face to face at times now.
There you go. It all sounds so good. We got to get you moved there.
Yep. Well, like I say, one way or another, it has to happen now. So we'll make it work.
Yep, it's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, and I appreciate all the help. And, well, you sent one of the first contributions to it.
Yep.
I was kind of concerned that you're not, putting yourself out too far, because I know you're still making payments on that car.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I will feel it, but I'll recover.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once I get situated and, you know, kind of get my name out so I can start getting some jobs there, I'll be able to, help repay in some form or, pay it forward for other people that wind up needing some money.
Indeed, indeed.
Which I've already tried to do and, tried to contribute to other things people had going and promote other fundraisers.
I think you handled most of the scheduling for mine, didn't you?
Yeah, Angie helped a lot with that too.
Yeah, that was quite a feat.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we got you enough that you were able to get a car. I'm sorry we didn't, get you the whole way there.
Oh, you don't need to apologize. Everybody was wonderful. I couldn't be more grateful. It made it possible for me to move on.
Yeah.
To get what I needed. It was I couldn't have done it without you guys, and me helping you out is just I've been waiting for the chance to start sort of paying the community back. So I was
and
very
that's
eager for the opportunity.
it's nice that we really do have a community here, and it's that people have been able to help each other out with so many things.
Well, my motto has been we humans got to help each other out, So
Yep.
We're all we've got. We can't rely on spirits or gods or even aliens.
Yeah, I tried that stuff for a long time and was not getting much results.
There aren't many.
That was actually why I stayed with the pagan community for so long. Was not really any solid beliefs, but just having the sense of community of having people we could work with things. And I was involved with some charity projects with a group called Cups in Minneapolis, which was a coven of Universalist Unitarian pagans.
Cool.
And they operated as an affiliate of the Universal Unitarian Society in Minneapolis there. They were a society. Most of the members got kind of ticked off if you ever called them a church.
But yeah, I'm still very interested in the pagan community and pagan interests. It's been a minute or two, but I used to be Wiccan, so and if not for just being unable to believe in it, I probably still would be. If I ever went back to a religion, that's probably what I'd go to. I was actually just beginning to try to steer myself more toward Druidism, actually, toward the end there, and then I ultimately dropped the whole thing. But
yeah, I learned a lot about Wiccan, and I talked to a lot of people who were in Wiccan groups, but I've never joined a group myself. Although I did always consider Scott Cunningham's Wicca Guide for a Solitary Practitioner. It was something I always recommended as kind of a pagan 101.
mm-hmm.
Anyone who wanted to, find out about paganism, it was a good place to start.
Yeah, I started with Raymond Buckland's Complete Guide to Witchcraft, and I think I had one I should still have it, actually. I think I have one Scott Cunningham book. I want to say it was called Practical Magic or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like the third book he published.
Yeah. And I have a couple from Silver Ravenwolf.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's pretty much one of the main sources. My computer keeps making all sorts of random beeps at me, and I can't figure out what it's trying to notify me of. Okay, yeah, something's got really strange about my computer. Well, now I'm getting a banner over my Twitter tab that says you're using an unsupported browser. For best Twitter experience, consider updating to Windows 10. I'm running Windows 10. So something's gone strange here, and yeah, I'm obviously going to have to do a complete shutdown and reboot to clear out whatever's wandering around in the memory.
Your droid needs a memory wipe?
Yeah. Now, not that I'm very fond of Windows 10 to begin with, but...
Yeah. Hey there, being mindful.
Hey, Mindful, what you up to?
Killing time? What did time ever do to you?
Yeah. Yeah, Sloth Girl's telling me not to stay on here too long because there's so much to do. It's like, yeah, it's like, I know that. Sometimes she's a bit of a nag and she doesn't get that. That's really counterproductive for me because it's like, people doing things like that will just stress me out and I will shut down and get nothing done. If you want me to get something done, just tell me the goal. Tell me what you want the end result to look like and leave me alone. At that point, the more you talk to me, the less will get done.
Yeah, I'm very much the same. I tend to work better alone, so I can just sort of work at my own pace and.
Yep. Well, that's part of why I'm so nocturnal. Is it's just a lot easier to get stuff done when everyone else is asleep and I'm not getting interrupted.
Yeah.
Growing up in a family where there were always at least a dozen people in the house, that was the only way to ever, go more than an hour without getting interrupted, was to just be up when everyone else was asleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't always particularly nocturnal, but I really was not a morning person. And now I don't know what I am because, like, I skip right on through the morning. I work all night and into the morning, and I don't go to bed until the afternoon. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I am. I kind of skip right through morning.
Yeah, well, my sleep is so random. I just kind of, whenever I can, and lately what I seem to have run into is a lot of just dozing off a bit early in the evening, and then, by 10 o'clock I'm wide awake again, and then I can't fall asleep again until at least 4 a.m.
Well, I try to adhere to my sleep time, but oh, it's difficult. I think Greg Hartwick earlier said sleep for him is a hobby.
Yep.
Once again, for me, it's an interest. I'm very interested in sleep. Doesn't happen much, but I'm very interested.
Yeah, well, my usual response when somebody says they're going to sleep is I ask, can you teach me how?
Yeah.
Because I can't sleep more than 2 hours at a time without fully waking up. And, then it's always the question of, okay, do I lay here for an hour or so hoping I'll fall asleep again, or do I get up and try to do something? Because I can never tell if I'm going to fall asleep again or not.
Yeah, unfortunately for me, once I'm in my designated sleep time zone, I just have to do what I can to sleep.
Well, yeah, that's
I
what I
don't
have
know.
to do if I ever have to work on somebody else's schedule, which is, you know, trying to have a job or that. And even with building stuff, I have the problem that the neighbors don't appreciate running power tools at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I think I started something in the side chat with my time comment.
Yep,
Been hearing a
definitely.
lot of disparagement toward time.
Yeah.
Am I going to have to become a time apologist?
No, Greg, I've had sleep studies done at 3 separate clinics. And yeah, the sleep apnea they ruled out real easily. I don't have any problem with that. And they've tried me on basically every prescription possible, and Clonopin, which is a controlled substance that they don't want to prescribe, will help me fall asleep a little faster, but I still don't stay asleep. And the sleep specialist I've been seeing here was very upfront about it and said, "You're screwed. Your brain wired up, and there's nothing we can do about it except for these medications, each of which has some rather unpleasant side effects."
Mm,
I'm definitely getting an echo in my headphones. I don't know if anyone else is hearing it.
mm. I don't think I'm hearing anything.
Okay.
Nope, I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But like I've tried all the prescription sleep aids. The Lunesta, um the results of it were erratic. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. What it did consistently do was destroy my sense of taste, so everything I ate tasted metallic.
uh,
And the nurse practitioner that prescribed it to me went through and read some of the studies and said, "Oh yeah, you're right. It's like kind of in the fine print down at the bottom. It says that this was observed in 3% of the study group." And I was on Ambien when I was with my fiance, and that was like causing memory gaps that I would it was not only from the time I took the pill, but like from 2 hours before I took it, that I wouldn't remember anything that happened in the evening. And she was saying
Jeez.
it was making me uncharacteristically aggressive, that I was starting fights at night and not remember them the next morning.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah, so
That means it is not doing good for your uh, brain chemistry and shit.
yeah, and well, I mean, in any relationship, you always have that problem of arguing about what you said and that, and it's like it's a good thing that we had the level of trust we did. That you know, I know that she wasn't going to be trying to use things against me, and if she was saying I was saying some really off the wall things that didn't really relate.
Hmm.
So, okay, Hans, what's an atomist?
in our in our time conversation, uh, so I guess I'm becoming a time apologist, and my opponents will be atimists. Although
Oh,
I
okay.
would say, although I don't think that should be it. I think the term should be like whatever would be a entropist or anaentropist or anatropist. I don't know. I don't know English very well, so I don't know how you would uh, um, use the. I don't know how you would use the prefix for on entropy, uh, because linear time flows in the direction of increased entropy.
Yep. Yeah, Dave, that link you just posted, yeah, that's exactly the same message I'm getting. So maybe it's just Twitter. Okay, Sloth Girl, I don't follow what you're doing. Who's charging for a change of address? But yeah, actually, I played with the idea of nonlinear time. That was back when I had an answering machine. That was one of the messages I had on there for a long time. Was that you've reached me. I'm currently experimenting with nonlinear time. So if this works, I should have returned your call before you leave your message.
Oh wow, mine is very similar. Uh, my outgoing message is you've reached me. I am traveling through time right now, so if you leave a message, I will already have gotten back to you.
Yep.
But I stole that from Rick Jones in a Hulk comic. So
Ah.
that was written by Peter David. So technically, I stole it from Peter David, and he's a great writer. I love Peter David.
Yeah. Well, I followed the Marvel comics, back in the 70s and the early 80s. So I, kind of lost track of the characters since then, and they've changed so much.
You know, and a quick hello out there to Faye.
Yep.
Hi
Oh,
there,
hi,
kid.
Faye. I didn't see you come in. Okay, Dave, if you can't keep your eyes open, is there any reason you can't just curl up and take a nap? Oh, okay. So that's the post office system now that you need a credit card so they can verify you. Yeah, that makes sense because I know that was an old trick that people used to use for revenge was submitting a change of address for someone.
Hmm.
Actually, I think that was part of a George Carlin routine that you fill out a card with somebody's name and address and then the address where you want their mail to go. I think George Carlin had used that in one of his routines, and I think some people took it seriously and used it for revenge things.
Hmm. That could be. I don't recall that routine, but there probably is a ton of George Carlin I've never seen yet.
Oh,
I see
yeah, well,
new
just the
stuff.
volume of stuff he put out. I,
Yeah,
how many stand up performances he did.
quite a lot. And then there's all of his stuff from the '60s before he went rebel.
Yep. Well, and I think that routine was something from the late 60s because I used to have a lot of that stuff way back when I had a turntable and vinyl. I had a bunch of George Carlin LPs that were just various collections of his stand-up routines.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of the old '60s stuff. Um, but like with YouTube and shit, I've seen quite a bit. So I keep finding really actually old stuff that I just never got to see.
Yep.
He did have a lot of records, albums, and stuff as well that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, I have no idea how many he put out. So I hope you're doing better, Faye. I didn't get a chance to respond to some comments I saw there, so I know you said you weren't feeling well and weren't really eating. I hope you're. Or like, yes, yes, I love Steven Universe. Unfortunately, they're so erratic about when they put it on that I never know when it'll be, and so now I'm probably like 2 seasons behind because I haven't been able to see the shows in order so they don't make sense.
What show is that?
Steven Universe. It's
Hmm.
animated on Cartoon Network,
Hmm.
but it's another one of those shows that it's like they put it on the air, but it's clear that there's someone in the management of the network that has been trying to kill the show since the very first episode.
Hmm.
That they've done everything possible to keep it from gaining an audience, and yet it still has an amazing following.
Hmm.
I think part of the thing they're uncomfortable with is the audience or the show um, really it's very LGBT friendly. There is a couple of two females there that they even did a wedding episode for.
Hmm.
And I think that makes someone at the network uncomfortable, and they were hoping it would fail, but it's just it's well done. The characters are well done. The storylines are well done. There's some fluff episodes that don't relate to anything, but the overall story arc has been good.
Hmm. I might have to try to find that and check it out.
Oh yeah, definitely if you haven't seen it.
I don't have like regular television or cable or anything. Just a couple of like streaming services.
Yeah. Well, I have cable just because I share Sloth Girls, but I watch very little TV, so um, yeah, for me, just pretty much having the Netflix was enough. I didn't have cable for many years,
Yeah, that's
so
pretty much what I have: Netflix and Hulu.
although ironically, the only reason I'm here now is I found the atheist community by mistake because I was originally searching YouTube for 80s animation to find episodes of the original Transformers and such.
Mm-hmm.
And because I used 80s animation in the search terms, it brought up Bionic Dance. And of course, once I started watching her stuff, then it started suggesting, related things. So it started suggesting Vice Rhino and Professor Stick and Paulogia. And 2.5 years later, here I am.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled upon it myself. Um, trying to think. I think I ran into Amazing Atheist was among the first, and I wound up finding um, I I did used to watch a whole lot of like you know haunted this and that, real proof of ghosts and aliens, and a lot of those videos that are so common on YouTube. Um, and somehow I think I came across spirit science,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I watched a couple videos of that, and I'm like, I don't know, this is pretty goofy, and that led me to Martimer, and I'm like, yeah, 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 watching the debunk, and I'm like, yep, yep, that's sounding reasonable, that's sounding right, and I think that was around the same time I encountered Amazing Atheist, and I think that
Yeah.
led to the ACA.
Yeah,
And that's when
I
I was
watched
really getting into all of the atheist stuff.
yeah. I watch Spirit Science and it's like I get a good laugh out of it, but at the same time I know there's a significant percentage of the people I knew in the pagan community who would probably buy that stuff.
Yeah, and sadly, even though I was I had pretty much denounced all religions by that point. I think I was also still into that movie. What the bleep do we know? And I was pretty sure most everything in there was true.
Well,
But
I did believe in a lot of that stuff, and especially the ghost and spirit encounters, and to some degree, as far as the ghosts, I'm still somewhat open to some of that because I had a couple weird experiences I still lack a good explanation for. But since there's no way I can make the events repeat, there's no way that I can, gather any more data or study them. So,
yeah,
it's like I'm open to possibilities, but I don't have any strong beliefs.
in the last several years, most anything that has kind of spooked me a little. Like I've never experienced anything that I would call fantastic or by any means supernatural.
Yeah.
But little things would happen, and I couldn't explain them for a while. But I've been more diligent, and I've been able to, like, find the reason behind damn near everything
Yeah,
I've
well, and that's the
experienced.
thing.
So
I am reflecting back that, at the time those happened, I was, you know, filtering the experience through what I believed at the time. So that obviously had some effect on it. And I also, because of my sleep problems, I know there does come a point where I get sleep deprived enough that I start hallucinating. So,
yeah,
not quite knowing what state I was at when those things occurred. And
I,
just being sleep deprived on my own is bad enough. If you're not already sleep deprived, raising kids, you will be. So yeah, that kind
yeah.
of magnified that problem.
Oh boy.
Well, especially like raising three teenagers at the same time.
Oofda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have.
everybody says how much work it is raising babies, and it's like, yeah, the infants and toddlers were not nearly as much work as the teenagers.
Hmm. Yeah, I have no experience raising kids. I never intended to have any. So
Yeah, Hans also mentions fake memories, and yeah, I have identified a couple of instances too where I have, you know, not necessarily false memories, but incorrect memories, that memories that seem to be like two separate events that got merged together, but when I study them carefully, it's like that event couldn't have occurred with those people involved. So yeah, that our memories are not accurate. Our brain will fill in
yep,
pieces if you forgot part of it.
yep, that is true. We really can't trust our memories.
Yeah, or the Sunday night is when I need some help filling time slots. So if Badger would do something, well, that would for me be Sunday night, and for him would be, sometime Sunday between when he wakes up and when he has lunch. So ask him if he could do something Sunday morning. Yeah, and but I have some stuff that I have written when I was like, going on 70 some hours with like 4 or 5 hours sleep. And it's like I look back at some of that stuff and that's scary. I really don't want to acknowledge that that kind of stuff happens in my brain. I have characters that frighten me. I have a story that I don't want to finish because I don't want to see where that was going.
Yeah, the brain can be a creative tool.
Yeah, that's my imagination is very good. That's very useful for a lot of things and a lot of creative problem solving, but when it's kind of left to run unchecked without the logical centers fully functioning, then it gets scary.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think the problem I'm having with filling slots on Sunday morning, is because really, what's the point of being an atheist if you have to get up on Sunday morning?
True that. Although I'm always up on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And I work next door to a Jehovah's Witness church.
Oh, that's fun.
Indeed.
Yeah, where I lived in St. Paul, we were about half a mile from Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall. So yeah, they came around regularly until one year for Yule. This was when I was a pagan. So I decorated with a 5 foot pentagram on the side of the house, fully lighted, and we didn't hear from them after that.
Um,
So
I don't.
I guess the symbol really does ward off evil, and
There you go. Well, back in the day, if you wanted to deal with Jehovah's Witnesses at your door, what you do is you gather up a bunch of their pamphlets, draw a chalk line of a body on your sidewalk leading up to your door, and throw the pamphlets down.
yeah,
I don't know what Sloth Girl means by always. Probably on the JW Church thing. I've been at my current
or
job for close to a year and a half, so
yeah,
that's how
or
long I've
maybe
been.
she's asking if you always work on Sundays.
Oh, always work on Sundays. Well, I'm always up on Sundays because of I keep my same sleep schedule, but I do get Sundays off
Yep.
sometimes. Um, you're doing the thing this weekend, right?
Yep.
Because I do believe I have Friday and Saturday night off
Yeah, this
this
weekend.
week.
Well, like I say,
So,
we've already got people booked all the way from noon on Saturday to midnight on Saturday. That yeah, at the end of it, Neil's going to be doing it in his after party. That he's going to come on about 9 p.m. Saturday night, and he'll probably run to about midnight. And then
I
that's when we
see.
start having a gap that we need somebody to fill in after that.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, the lineup we've got at this point is tea and Danish at noon. Excuse me. And actually, we'll probably have about an hour. I'm not sure how long tea and Danish is going to run. So I'll just fill in for an hour or so myself after that. And then we have Queer Light Bright at 3 p.m. and Mr. Bear Atheist at 4, and Ansgar Odison at 5. And then Angie's going to take in for 2 hours from. Yeah, Ansgar's going to run 2 hours from 5 to 7, and then Angie's going to take from 7 to 9. And then at 9, Neil the 604 Atheist is going to be taking it on his after party. And that'll run us till midnight. And then we kind of have like a gap, big gap from like midnight to sunrise. And then Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, Dick Dawson from the Shills is going to take a slot. And he's going to
cool.
run it until the Lavender Lady starts her coffee with lavender on Sunday.
Groovy.
So, yeah, basically we've got, from what the U.S. time, basically from midnight to sunrise, that I need to get some people to fill in while most everybody in the U.S. and Canada is asleep. Yeah, tea and Danish.
Hmm.
I figured you'd do about 2 hours. So then I'll wind up doing about an hour after that between when you finish and when Queer Light Bright's ready to start. And certainly, you know, I, between midnight and sunrise, I do a couple hours myself, but um, I can't run all night long because also on Sunday, my sister-in-law is planning our going away party, so I have to get enough sleep to be able to act polite and social and deal with family,
Hmm.
which has always been a difficult thing and is one of the big advantages of moving. That living this close to this much of my family is very difficult and stressful to me. That I had learned before I even graduated high school, I had figured out that about 300 miles is the minimum safe distance from most of my family, so that they can't expect me to show up for most of the family gatherings and, only expect me on special occasions a couple times a year.
Well, you'll have more than double protection now.
Well, no, it's going to be about 350 miles from where we are now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anything that's short enough that it's feasible to make the round trip in one day is too close.
Yeah.
Amiga nuts, that sounds like a nice schedule. It kind of is along the lines of my solution to fix the high unemployment was that we're doing things backwards and that instead of working 5 days a week and having a 2-day weekend, we should swap that and have the standard work week be 2 days with everybody having 5 days off. Because then, of course, every company would have to hire twice as many people and unemployment would be solved. So that's my plan for the economy. So MathPig has been promoting me for president in 2020. So vote for me, and that's how we're going to fix the economy.
There we go. I'll vote for you.
Actually, the plan is I'm going to take Lavender Lady always says that the way to do it is to form an autocracy with her as the autocrat. So I'm going to name her as my running mate. And since I acknowledge that I would have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just going to be out there making the speeches and just kind of distracting everybody's attention and let her run things from behind the scenes.
Yeah, that worked out well for Bush and Cheney.
Yep. Well, hey, I'm going to be the first one to say let somebody who's better qualified do it because I would have no clue what I'm doing. If you actually give me that kind of power, I'm just going to fuck things up.
Hey guys, what's this button do? No, 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 no.
Well, as far as any kind of legislative position, it's more like not really understanding what it is I'm signing or voting on. Which is pretty much what we have now, except the problem would be is that I would feel bad afterwards when I saw the effects of it. Ah. And actually, Sloth Girl's saying we'd have to raise the minimum wage. I don't think the problem is the minimum wage. I think the problem is the cost of living. So,
Maybe start imposing some pricing limits. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if that would be feasible.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of that, there should be a lot more like subsidized housing programs available,
Yeah.
because the building owners still have to get enough money to pay the upkeep on the buildings and all that stuff. But working class people, in most cities in the US, working 40 hours a week at minimum wage is not enough to pay for a one-bedroom apartment and buy groceries. So yeah, we would have to do something that, people who are on low-paying jobs could actually afford to have an apartment.
Yeah, and some damn medical care.
Yeah. Well, and of
I
course, to have public transportation work so people don't have to own a car just to have a job.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
my
another
town
thing we're
has
finding out about St. Cloud is it looks like they have a reasonable bus service, and it looks like they've been investing money in it recently. They've got like a lot of new equipment.
interesting.
Yeah, and there is a bus shelter literally right in front of our building. So yeah, we haven't really got on there to check all the bus routes and that, but there are two major colleges in St. Cloud. There's the University of Minnesota has a sizable campus there, and there's also St. Cloud State University. So I'm sure that has a lot to do with having a better bus service of the students being able to get around.
Yeah, my town has a transit, a bus, and you can take it anywhere in town, and it's 50 cents.
Oh,
So it's not bad, and you can
that
even buy like a year's pass for like I think 17 or 18 bucks.
yeah, that's amazingly reasonable, and
Um,
for a smaller town, I'm surprised by that.
yeah, yeah, about 30,000 people. Um, but the thing that kind of sucks about it is they follow a specific route. So they'll stop at a stop, or they'll pull over on the side of the road and drop you off if you ask them. But you usually end up having to still walk, like 2 or 3 blocks at least. And because you have to follow the route, what could take you 5 or 10 minutes direct route can take you over an hour.
Yeah, well, that's pretty common with transit services, and unfortunately, that's the problem that Diana talks about a lot.
hmm
It's just because of the way the buses run there, that just for her to go to the doctor and back, is a minimum of a 5 hour trip, 5 hour round trip.
Yeah,
Yeah, St. Cloud, I just taken a quick look for comparison, and it says it has a population of about 68,000.
their population was how many?
68,000.
Wow.
So
Yeah, a
it's
little
not a
bigger.
big city, but it's a mid-sized city, and that's what I was looking for. That it's big enough to have all these stores and resources that I need on a weekly basis, and not having to drive great distances.
They probably have more stuff open at night.
Yeah,
We,
I'm pretty sure they'll at least have 24-hour grocery stores, which was part of it.
yeah, we don't have much. We have a Walmart that's open 24. We have another grocery store that's open, and a few gas stations
Yeah,
that are open at night, but not much. I can
yeah,
always get smokes.
mm, yeah. Be mindful saying that people who've gone to college can't get jobs in those fields, and we need free
you know,
college. And yeah, I would definitely support that. I mean, at the bare minimum, to make the community colleges free, so people could get like at least their first 2 years in tuition free. And then if they needed something more, yeah, maybe some of the other colleges they'd have to pay some tuitions for.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
see,
that's really what works out so well for the Scandinavian countries, that pretty much all of them, that you can go as long as you need to get a degree for free.
yeah, yeah, like if we can improve healthcare and education, like more people can get into advanced trades. I did 2 years of college at our local community college, um, but I couldn't afford to do any more school. I had to go out and get a job, and I'm pretty much a servant.
Yeah, I was the
but
same way. All I could afford was 1 year at a technical institute.
but if we can make education and healthcare more accessible, people
Yeah,
will be able to train better in you know more
yep.
advanced trades.
Well, and the
Then
other thing with
then we can
healthcare,
then we can improve automation for a lot of the menial stuff. Have
yeah,
all our cars built by robots and shit.
the other thing with healthcare is that, if people would be healthier, we would have fewer people who were needing assistance and more people who would be able to be working and paying taxes into the system.
Yeah,
Like my brother can't work because he has a hernia, and because the injury was caused on his job, he wound up losing his job. But when he got onto Medicaid, they said it was a pre existing condition, so they won't pay for the surgery. If they
what
would pay
the?
for the damn surgery, he would be able to go back to work. But instead, he's been out of work for 3 years.
Oh, that is so crazy.
Yeah. Like I say, if they would pay for the one surgery, he would have been back to work and he would be paying taxes, and they would have gotten more than the money back for the surgery in the income taxes he would have paid at that time. So that's the system is so screwed up that it is literally destroying itself, because it is
Yeah,
making more people reliant on the system, and once you get on the system, it makes it so difficult for anyone to get off of it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
Because
we need more transition programs that help people who are on the system with the resources they need to get back to work.
especially education. Once again,
Yeah, a lot of it would have to do with job retraining. Yeah, in areas where an industry has left or shut down, that people could train for jobs in other areas.
and maybe even create industries in areas that need one,
Yeah,
and revitalize some of the dead cities we have.
yeah, that's a bit more problematic, but that's really why
Yeah,
Trump won, because people believed that he was somehow going to make companies open factories in every small town across the country.
huh.
But that's not really feasible for rural areas anymore just because, transporting the materials and the finished goods back and forth cost money. So it's cheaper for these companies to, set up in major cities, where the resources are closer. Okay, Sloth Girl saying that the buses for St. Cloud are $1.25 a ride, which is about what I expected.
Yep.
Okay, well, we've been running for 2 hours here, and yes, I do have an incredible amount of stuff to get done. So
Indeed.
I thank you, Doc, for coming in and chatting with me,
Sure.
and I thank everybody in the side chat for all coming with and all of your interesting inputs. So, and yeah, we're gonna try to run the relay this weekend. So anybody who's got time this weekend, we'll have a schedule set up, and if just check my channel, you should be able to find out at any time, who's currently running. So with that, I will say goodbye for today, and I'll be back for the midnight chat tomorrow at midnight, and we'll see you all then.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. And